In Indianapolis, we are officially at the breaking point. There are no more excuses. The fan base's patience has completely vanished. Additionally, there was so much tension in the press conference room last night that a knife could cut through it. The head coach should, at the least, take the floor, take full responsibility, and address the difficult questions when your team's star point guard scores 32 points, makes incredible clutch shots, and essentially fractures her back while trying to lead a dysfunctional team to victory. However, Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White did the exact opposite Wednesday night following their devastating 104-102 loss in double overtime on their own court. Welcome back. WNBA Pro is this. And today, we're dissecting one of the most awkward, evasive, and blatantly inappropriate post-game press conferences in recent WNBA history. We are discussing how Stephanie White deliberately avoided taking responsibility for her utterly flawed defensive schemes, her perplexing lineup selections, and the complete lack of changes that allowed the Washington Mystics to score more than 100 points in consecutive home defeats. We're doomed. You cannot come to any other conclusion if you saw that game and, more significantly, if you listened to the coach's post-game remarks. Right now, the Indiana Fever are playing like a completely lost squad. They're playing from behind. To force OT, they are depending on improbable fourth-quarter miracles. The most horrifying aspect is that the person in charge appears to be totally immobile when it comes to addressing the underlying cause of the issue.
When we don't consistently defend, again, and this is on us as coaches. Like, this is our responsibility. We got to be disciplined the entire game. We got to be disciplined every possession. We're taking chances. We're fouling shooters who are about to shoot tough shots. We got breakdowns in coverages.
When reporters questioned Stephanie White about the terrible second and third quarters, hear what she had to say. The quarters in which the Fever's offensive and defensive capabilities totally failed. We put a lot of pressure on our offense to be flawless when we don't consistently defend, she stated. We learned self-discipline. We experienced coverage breakdowns. We have to identify player combinations and rotations that maximize efficiency. She made extensive use of buzzwords. She discussed self-control. She discussed combinations. But take note of what she didn't do. The question itself was not addressed by her. She declined to explain why she was using items that were being completely destroyed by the paint. Her franchise center, Aya Boston, was made to play on the perimeter like a guard while the Mystics lived in the paint, but she refused to explain why. Despite the fact that it is essentially her multi-million-dollar job to have such combinations thought out before the ball is tipped in a professional game, she stood there and acknowledged that the coaching staff needs to discover the correct combinations. Caitlin Clark took the microphone and spoke the harsh, uncomfortable truth while the coach was talking in circles and using nebulous coaching platitudes.
That's our biggest area of growth is everyone wants to go over when they're making shots. And for us, that's our biggest room for improvement right now is when things aren't going well, we still got to be able to defend and, find ways to get stops. And we haven't done that very well to this point, same way it was with our open.
The weariness on Clark's face is evident. Her voice is filled with frustration. She made no excuses when questioned about the defensive troubles. She criticized the team's mindset outright. I think we've been letting that dictate how well we play defense too much, she stated. When they are making shots, everyone wants to guard. However, when things aren't going well, we have the most space for improvement. We still needed to be able to defend. The season's best quote is that a true franchise player has that mindset. Clark is publicly criticizing her own teammates' lack of effort. She is bringing to light the precise cultural decay that Stephanie White has permitted to develop in that locker room. Front-runner basketball is being played by the Fever. They sprint, grin, and play defense while the threes are dropping. However, they put their heads down, jog back in transition, and let other teams turn their paint into an unbelievable layup line the moment they miss a couple shots. 58 points in the paint. Let me reiterate that startling figure because it is indisputable evidence of coaching malpractice. Against the Indiana Fever, the Washington Mystics scored 58 points in the painted area. Giving up 58 points inside the key is a death sentence in professional basketball. It indicates that you have no internal defense. It indicates that you rotate slowly. It indicates that you don't have the physical toughness needed to succeed in this league.
Defensive moments at worst.
I think a lot of things. One, intensity. I think attention to detail. It's little things. It's initial positioning. It's communication. It's reacting. It's relaxing off the ball. There are a lot of things that are outside of and great players make great plays. And the thing that Washington does is they keep moving.
White blamed communication when reporters questioned her about feeling controlled inside. Initial positioning was to blame, she said. Relying on defense was her fault. However, her personnel decisions were the elephant in the room that she vehemently refused to address. Why did the Mystics front court have a career night while Monique Billings, the backup big, played 36 minutes and only managed 10 points and 9 rebounds? In the off-season, why did the front office sign players like Damiris Dantas rather than a true rim protector? Why did the team's weaknesses keep coming to light? And why did the coach put off creating successful out-of-bounds plays until the fourth quarter? In actuality, Stephanie White is deliberately undermining Caitlin Clark's MVP-caliber campaign. Clark put in 37 exhausting minutes of play. She lost 32 points. She shot 7 out of 17 from deep. At last, she discovered the deadly step back to her left. She carried out all of the tasks assigned to her. She battled against double teams. She had to contend with awful spacing. She also made crucial shots to keep this team afloat. However, Clark herself stated at the platform, "I don't really care because we lost, even though it was great."
I mean, obviously going to the left, that's what I like, but at the same time, I don't get a ton of catch and shoot threes, so, take what you can get, but it was great, but I don't really care because we lost.
Caitlin, 37 minutes tonight, how do you feel coming out of that one? See the smile on your face, so.
We lost, so I don't really care. That's how a winner locked in a system designed for losers thinks. Here, we must consider the significant ramifications for the playoffs. The Indiana Fever are losing games they could win at home. They routinely give up more than 100 points. They won't make the playoffs if they don't quickly improve this defense. Can you picture the disastrous consequences if Caitlin Clark doesn't make it to the WNBA playoffs? When Angel Reese's squad failed, do you recall how the media treated her? The headlines will be ruthless. The entire season's storyline will change from applauding the league's expansion to harshly analyzing Indiana's shortcomings. The front office of the Fever is operating at full capacity. The fans are carrying out their duties. The arena is full. It's electric energy. In particular, Clark commended the supporters for being the team's primary source of energy during the fourth quarter. Fans, however, are unable to play defense. A weak side rotation cannot be drawn up by fans. A roster without a qualified large woman cannot be miraculously fixed by fans. The news conference Stephanie White held after the game was a masterful example of inventiveness. It was a terrible justification from a coach who is obviously losing control of the locker room. Undisciplined coaching occurs when you are outscored 20-9 in the second quarter of a home game due to 8 fouls and a free pass to the free throw line for the other side. The honeymoon has ended. Even Christie's side's teams did not appear so disjointed and defensively pitiful early in the season, despite her harsh criticism. The front office will be in a difficult situation if the Indiana Fever lose another home game due to terrible lineup management and a lackluster interior defense. Social media users are no longer the only ones calling for Stephanie White's termination. The argument is starting to make sense both tactically and mathematically. You can't waste the best point guard in the league's 32-point performances because you can't stop a simple pick and roll. Regarding Stephanie White's evasive news conference, what are your thoughts? Is she losing all authority over the locker room? When their shoots don't go in, are the players to blame for the complete lack of defensive effort? And how long can the front office continue to overlook the enormous gap in their front court? Please share your honest, unvarnished opinion in the comments section below. We read each and every one. Click the subscribe button now if you want to see the unvarnished truth about the WNBA, the truth that the mainstream media won't report. To ensure you never miss a deep dive breakdown, destroy the notification bell. In Indiana, the season is at stake, and time is of the essence. WNBA Pro is this. We'll see you in the upcoming video.